You're listening to the AstroMommy Daily Horoscope, a forecast that hopes to shine a light in the dark, helping us all see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. Whether you're a first-time listener or a long-time subscriber, thanks for being here. I truly appreciate you being in the AstroMommy community. I hope you enjoyed today's horoscope and card reading. If you would like to support the AstroMommy Newsletter, there are several ways to do so. Subscribe on Substack, share it with a friend, schedule a reading, check out my family's Etsy shop, Metaphysical Flamingo, or just leave a tip. Without further ado, here is the Daily Horoscope. Happy summer solstice. Mercury sextiles Mars and the Judgment card reversed. Daily horoscope for Wednesday and Thursday, June 21st through the 22nd, 2023. Good morning, friends. Happy summer solstice. Today marks the sun's ingress into the sign of Cancer, and also the time of year when the sun has reached the highest point in the sky, and thus we have the longest day of the year. And after this point, the sun will start to actually descend towards the horizon, essentially bringing back in more darkness as the days shorten. So today we will look at the summer solstice chart cast in Washington, D.C. to get an idea of the next 3 months for the USA as a collective. Now, I'm not going to go too deeply into the political side of things, but rather stay in the more personal areas of our lives, and these next 3 months are going to feel very personal. Okay, let's get into the astrology. Before the sun makes his ingress into Cancer, he will make a quincunx to Pluto, and the moon in Leo makes a quincunx to Saturn. These opening quincunxes of the day are interesting in that it's the two luminaries involved with the two planets that represent death, Pluto and Saturn. So there is something changing, going through a metaphorical death right now that we may feel a bit resistant towards. It's like we don't want to acknowledge it or look at it too directly because of the pain of separation. It's also a time when we need to stick to our morals and values and behave in a way that is authentic and integral to our true characters. It could be a testy day and a testy next 3 months as our integrity is challenged. At 9:14 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon in Leo perfects a square to Jupiter in Taurus, and this feels like we may be overinflating some situations, thinking that it is more than it is. Moon and Jupiter are usually positive, even in a square, but it could also mean that we may be getting too excited about something, and then the bubble bursts and we feel let down in some way. So just keep your expectations in check and try to be realistic and not make things more than they are in reality. At 10:57 a.m. Eastern Time, the sun ingresses into the sign of Cancer. The summer solstice chart is pictured below. I'm going to go over the aspects in the solstice chart, and remember that these aspects are not only happening today, Wednesday, but are also symbolic of the next 3 months until we get to the fall equinox. You can see the sun at the top of the chart in Cancer, having just made that quincunx to Pluto, who is almost opposite the sun at the bottom right of the chart at 29 degrees Capricorn, 48 minutes. This means that the Earth is in between the sun and Pluto in this kind of weird angle, and over the next month, the sun, Earth, and Pluto will perfectly align and form the last sun opposite Pluto from Cancer to Capricorn in our lives. Next year, when the sun is in Cancer again, Pluto will be in Aquarius. So this is it. This is a big deal and represents a final test, a final demolition of old structures to make way for the new to be built. It's a cathartic moment in history. Some other interesting things about this ingress chart is that we have the moon, Venus, and Mars all in Leo in the 12th house of this chart, which indicates that love, desire, relationships, and the family are all very important this summer and may be acting as the sort of subconscious motivators for radical change. You can see that Mars is at 18 degrees Leo and is within a 3-degree engagement with Uranus and Taurus at the top of the chart, forming a square aspect, a 90-degree angle. This is the first square that Mars and Uranus have had since their conjunction on August 1st, 2022, essentially marking the first major manifestation point of their energies. This could mean that the next 3 months have an air of unexpected upheaval, surprise revolutions, and disruptive, possibly violent changes. On a personal level, this could mean abrupt changes to your relationships or your drives and motivations that push you toward your goals. There could also be sudden outbursts of creative energy, aggression, and sexual appetite with a dramatic flair. There's a lot of drama in our personal lives being shown by this chart with the moon, Venus, and Mars all in Leo, square Uranus, Jupiter, and the North Node by whole sign and degree in Taurus. And these two signs, Leo and Taurus, are also fixed signs, so they can obsess and focus on things intensely. Leo and Taurus are also in an Antesian relationship, meaning that when the sun travels through Taurus or Leo, there is a similar light quality between the hours of light and hours of dark, which symbolizes a hidden conjunction and merging of energies. Mars and Jupiter will actually be in a perfect antitia moment when Mars reaches 22 degrees on June 26th, when he happens to also perfect the square to Uranus. This is like a hidden conjunction between Mars and Jupiter, which means things that are Martian, like aggression, conflict, and motivation, are going to be expanded, amplified, and made bigger by Jupiter. While in a square to Uranus, this could be explosive, combustible, and possibly wounding. On a positive note, this aspect could be something in your life that happens suddenly and unexpectedly that has an air of providence, redemption, and justice. Another thing that has to be mentioned with this ingress chart is that Saturn is in the 7th house in Pisces, now retrograde, and this is indicative of a restructuring of our relationships individually and as a country. So these would be our relationships, partnerships, and business dealings with other countries. Personally, this means that we will be pruning our relationships, letting go of what works and what doesn't over the next 3 months. Mercury in Gemini is also applying to square Neptune in Pisces, and since Mercury is moving so fast at 2 degrees per day, this is very quick energy. Mercury and Neptune in a square could mean some mental fog, chaos, and uncertainty in our environment, almost like we are not sure how deep the fog is and where our feet will hit solid ground when we step. It's disorienting, confusing, and mystifying. It could feel like we are stepping into a faded, surreal world or like we are being deceived. It also makes me think of being intoxicated by something in the mind or having our mental states altered in some way so that we see reality through a different lens. It's mind-bending and environment-altering, like an acid trip. As well as the square to Neptune, Mercury is also perfecting a sextile to Mars on this solstice, and that means that there are opportunities for action. People will want to travel, go on adventures, and try to manifest their desires in a big way. Since this is a sextile, which is said to be the nature of Venus, this could represent harmonious opportunities that fall into our laps that we are inspired to take action on. I think this is really positive, forward-moving energy, but it's also an energy to remember to think before you speak or act because Mars is in that square to Uranus, which means that the energy is unstable. And with Mercury's square to Neptune, what is really a red light could be masquerading as a green light, so we need to proceed with caution and wisdom. Do your best to be realistic and authentic. Don't give in to peer pressure, stay sober, and watch those stoplights. With the sun now in Cancer, we want to feel comfortable and at home. The moon is in the sun sign of Leo, and the sun is in the moon sign of Cancer. So it's like our mission and motivation are very feminine, receptive, or yin, and our environment and circumstances are very masculine, action-oriented, or yang. So we are wanting to be receptive to life and use our intuition to guide our steps forward, and at the same time, we are traversing through a very hot, dry, extroverted land where we could feel like the only way to make it through is to put ourselves up on a stage and sing and dance for all to see. It reminds me of a male peacock flaunting himself to attract a female in a very dramatic, Leo-like way, and the motivation is for the primal instinct of procreation, to give the gift of life, which is very Cancerian. Cancer in ancient astrology was the sign that was associated with the birth of the cosmos, and so we have this cosmic mother energy permeating the next 3 months, with a very hard aspect forming to Pluto and Capricorn, bringing a complete transformation to all the seemingly dependable structures in our lives, the birth of a new world. Things could move very quickly on Wednesday and Thursday, and over the next 3 months. We end Wednesday night with the moon in Leo conjoining Venus in Leo, and this means we could feel a lot of love, affection, and warm feelings. This is a nice energy for Wednesday night. Moving on to Thursday, early in the morning at 1:22 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon in Leo forms a semi-square to the sun in Cancer. So we may be feeling like we want something to change, to happen, but we are stuck at a red light. We can't force things, so be patient. At 8:41 a.m. Eastern Time, the moon conjoins Mars in Leo. Those loving feelings we had could turn into hot and passionate ones late Wednesday night into the wee hours of the morning Thursday. Of course, we need to caution against fighting, conflicts, and hot tempers when the moon and Mars meet as well. So just try to channel this really heated, intense, and passionate energy into something positive and loving. The moon then makes a trine to Chiron in Aries and a sextile to Mercury in Gemini between 9:25 and 11:50 a.m. Eastern Time, indicating a time for good conversations about our feelings and vulnerabilities and how this new environment or the changes that are taking place are going for you emotionally. In the afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, the moon perfects her square to Uranus in Taurus, and there could be disruptions, upheavals, or unexpected emotions that surface and take us by surprise. Then at 11:52 p.m. Eastern Time, Mars in Leo makes his trine to Chiron in Aries, indicating people may be feeling a bit impulsive, action-oriented, and passionate about life, love, and their happiness, what makes them tick, what makes them feel alive, and there could be a lot of emotional outpouring on Thursday that is healing and hopefully positive. Thursday night could be really fiery, eager, and emotional. Since the timing of these transits and how it affects you personally is all dependent upon your natal chart, you could feel these archetypal combinations leading up to, during, or after the exact moment. So keep that in mind for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let's move on to the card for the day. What is the guidance for today? 20, Judgment, reversed. On this card, we see a deceased person laying on a wooden scaffold with a blanket fully covering them, symbolically representing the ritual of the soul passing into the spirit world, the final judgment. There is the head and tail of a horse tied to the legs of the table. In the background, there is a large tree with bare branches amidst a cold wintry sky atop a great mound or small hill. In the upright position, the Judgment card symbolizes a crossroads in life where we feel we need to make a decision about which way to go, and whatever we decide will be life-changing. It's a card that represents tuning into your higher self and trusting your own judgment so that you can let go of the past and move forward. In the reverse position, the Judgment card suggests that you are not listening to your higher calling. Maybe you are ignoring the messages, or maybe you are doubting or criticizing yourself for even thinking that what is coming in is even possible. Whichever the case, it's time to do some self-reflection and self-evaluation. Clear away past mistakes and regrets that you may have kept hidden from others because you feared rejection or harsh judgment. Work on healing these old wounds through self-acceptance and love. As the card for the day, I feel this represents that right now, it's time to listen to your intuition about what you know is the right decision for your highest self. Acknowledge your fears, doubts, and self-criticisms, and then let them go so that you can accept the blessings of the outcome and the new energy that is coming into your life. Let me know if this reading resonates with you in the comments. I hope this is helpful. Until Friday, AstroMommy.
Thank you for reading or listening to the Daily Horoscope. Quick links and resources can be found at the bottom of the newsletter. Today's card was pulled from the Native American Tarot deck by Magda, Weck, Gonzalez, available on Amazon. If you seek knowledge and enlightenment, the AstroMommy Newsletter may be right for you. Side effects of reading or listening to the AstroMommy Newsletter are common and include joy, jubilation, delight, happiness, gratitude, love, triumph, feeling in tune with the universe, experiencing deep insights, reflections, and contemplations, a lightened soul, a lighter step, feeling awake when others are asleep, illuminated, enlightened, having spiritual experiences, noticing repeating numbers, animals in nature, or songs on the radio that speak to you, getting vibes, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsmelliance, feeling like you know secret language, biophilia, crying tears of joy, emotional literacy, feeling lively, stable, exalted, having an auric glow, or feeling like you woke up on the right side of the bed have all been reported. If you purchase anything through the affiliate links that I provide in the newsletters, I will make a very small commission. Thanks for listening.